everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Before we get into the painting today, I do have a mini art haul for all the products that I've kind of collected over the past couple months and during Christmas, so keep watching for that and I'll show you some of my favorite things that I've gotten. So the original audio for this part kind of got messed up, so I'm going to do this in voiceover, so if it's kind of funky, I apologize, but we'll get through it. So this first product is the Kuretake number 13 brush pen. I really love it. I do have the Pentel pocket brush, which I'm going to show you guys right here. It's a really popular brush, but I've always had issues with it. The brush is too long and is really hard to control, so I was kind of looking for something a little easier for me, especially since I really like using nibs, and it's just really hard to use this on watercolor paper. The paper is just too textured, so I looked at a bunch of different brush pens and I found this one and I absolutely love it. The bristles are shorter, so they're easier to control, and it comes with a nice cap. You can easily travel with it, and what I did is it comes with cartridges like in the Pentel Pocket Brush Pen, but I don't use the cartridges. You can see here I've just left them in the box. I actually use a converter. I got this converter on Amazon, and what you do is you put ink of your choice in the converter, and then you just stick it right into the pen like you would the cartridge. And of course I use my favorite ink, which is the Dr. P.H. Martin's Black Star Matte India ink. It's super black and it's very waterproof, so I use that pretty much anytime I'm using black ink with my watercolors, which is pretty much every time I do a watercolor painting. And now for this, you can get replacement like brush nibs and all that, and I'll show you in a second. I've actually got the Kuretake number 40, which is the same as the 13. The difference is that instead of having nylon bristles, it has Kolinsky hair bristles, and I haven't tried it out yet. It's a little bit heavier. I think it's a metal body and the 13 is a plastic body. I'm excited to try that one out as well and see if really there's any differences. All the components between the two are interchangeable, so I'm going to guess that they work pretty much the same. Now the next item that I am going to show you guys is some watercolors, and oh man, I got this set of watercolor for my birthday back in October, and it is the M-Gram Colors of Summer set, and then I loved it so much I bought myself the Quinacridone Quintet set. And before this I only had one tube of M-Gram paint and I loved it. It's nickel quinacridone gold. It's a beautiful color, handles really well, so I was excited to try some more colors. And when I got that set for my birthday, I knew instantly I wanted more, and so I bought the quinacridone set. It's the color payoff is absolutely beautiful. I highly recommend this brand of paint. I have a bunch of different brands of paint, but I really love this one. Next, I'm going to show you this paint palette that I got for Christmas. It is enormous. Now, my other paint palette that I had before is also huge, but this is probably a third bigger than the other one I have. I love the component. They're the mixing wells within the palette. I feel like it's set up really well. Here you can show you the comparison between my old palette and this palette. This palette does have 55 wells in it. My old palette has 65, so it does have less wells for paint, but that's okay. I don't need 55 different paints in a palette anyway. But it's really nice. The paint doesn't really get beaded up on it either, which is nice. You can see all the colors there on that little sheet that I have currently in my set. Just I have the M-Gram colors and of course my Holbein, some Sennelier, some Dan Smith, just kind of a mix of everything. Next I got this little travel palette because I am going to be traveling later on this month, and I wanted something where I could have a little bit of a bigger travel palette. My current palette is kind of bulky, but also doesn't really have a lot of mixing space. I wanted something a little more compact, and I found this set on Amazon, and it originally had just some cheap whatever paints inside of it, and but all the pans came out, so I figured I would just get empty half pans and some full pans, especially for colors that I use a lot, like Payne's Gray. I would get a full pan, but it turns out that regular pans don't fit inside there, so I had to dig all the paint out of the pans that it came with and put the colors I want in there, and the colors are all the same from the travel palette and my regular studio palette. All right, now on to the painting portion of the video. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I got a new background for my desk. I feel like it's a little more interesting to look at, and it's nicer on my camera than that black top of my desk. So let me know what you guys think. I think it's pretty. So for this painting, I did 2 quick little studies of kind of what I want to do with colors and just get a feel of, I guess, the mood. And I went with like an all cool tone version, and then I went with a version that's a little more in the warm tone. And I don't know, I feel like I should do this more. These are just quick little 5x7 studies. It's the same paper that I do on the original. It's the Arches 140 pound cold press, and I just feel like it kind of gave me a better idea on what I was wanting to do, even though I kind of went a little bit of a different route than either of these. I kind of combine a little bit from both, but I don't know, it just I feel like I should do this more. Color is not the easiest thing for me. I do struggle with where to place colors, how I'm going to tackle things, but I'm impatient, so I always kind of want to just dive in and I need to think more about it instead of just being impulsive. And I don't know. I think it's funny in these two. In the one on the left, he looks kind of vampiric and villainous, and then on the right he looks more, I don't know, more like a hero kind of character. So it's kind of amusing to me. I don't know. I ended up going with more of a cool color palette. I thought it gave a better mood, and I wish I could have had the recording for the inking, because I did use the Kuretake number 13 brush pen. I would love to show you guys that in action, but I was kind of a dum-dum and I forgot to hit the record button, and I didn't notice until I was going to turn off the recording and realized I had never turned it on. So good job, Maddie. Woohoo! A+, best YouTuber ever. So I started off doing really dark areas. I usually start with doing skin, and then I end up going way too light or not saturated enough. So I wanted to try a technique where you do the darker colors first, so that you can kind of have a ground on how saturated and how dark you really can make things. And I feel like it really helped. It's something that I think I should implement more. I mostly like to do skin first because it's the most fun for me. I love painting the faces and the skin. I love skin tones. I also took a step back and did a skin coloring that more fits the environment. I love doing the natural earth tones of skin color, but in this I stuck more of these kind of maroons and purples for the skin to really stick with that dark, cool look of the picture. I feel like having done more of like the brown skin tones, it would have looked a little bit out of place with the really blue-gray of the coat and the hair, and then that kind of desaturated teal in the background. I wish I could tell you guys more of my technique with this. I'm pretty new to watercolors, so I feel like I just kind of just go for it, and I like just kind of learning that way, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. And I don't know, I just I can't really say. But I decided to put like a little bit of a pattern in the background to just make the background a little more interesting. It really kind of helped with that villainous kind of vibe. He does look like a vampire to me, so I guess he is a vampire. I'm going to say this is a vampire guy. Turned out pretty cool. I love how I did the hair. The hair was really fun, and I just had fun layering all the colors on top of each other and really not worrying about getting things perfect, because that's kind of a pitfall I have for myself, is perfection. And you can't fall into that trap because no one's perfect, and perfection can be boring anyway. So I just let myself have fun doing this picture, and I don't know, I really enjoyed it. So let me know, guys, if you liked how this painting turned out, and if you do like this painting as well as the two little tester paintings, I'm going to have those up in my Etsy shop, which is listed but down below. Don't forget to hit subscribe and hit that thumbs up button if you liked the video, and I will talk to you guys next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.